Welcome, Neil. Welcome to Talkin' Fight. Welcome to the Neil Deal Show.
Hey, how you doing, everyone? Graham, can you hear me out there?
Yep, hear you perfectly.
All right, fantastic. Something about the audio. I was supposed to turn that down somehow. I don't know. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, no, whatever you did, it worked. Thank you very much.
All right, everything's working. Hi, guys. How are you today? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for checking us out. The Neil the Deal Show. Here live. We're going to do some live stuff over the next few weeks, few months, I understand. So, hey, guys, whenever you're talking to me, you're going to know that this is actually it. We're not editing. We're not taping. We're not going over it. We're not sending it to producers. We're not doing anything. It's live to the world every day, all the time. Number one, big time. Let's do it.
So what do you got lined up for tonight's show, Neil?
Well, Graham, we've been talking about a lot of stuff over the last few weeks, I guess, since we started the Neil the Deal Show. And we're just going to elaborate, guys, on a little bit of the past, what we've been talking about. It's a new year coming up. We're going to have fresh, new material, new stuff, new guests, bigger and better all the time. Absolutely blow your mind. I'm telling you, I'm up to something. So if you guys continue doing what I want you to do, then basically we're together. We're going to become good friends. That's all I can tell you. So Graham, we're going to talk about a guy. I've decided, we're going to freestyle this from here on in, but we're still going to do mini segments that are in between. Okay, Graham? So what we're going to talk about is a guy who, I only know of one real famous guy that did this job. And so I thought, you know what? How come I haven't heard of more guys in the boxing community talking about these kind of individuals? All right. So it's like a very interesting thing. And I was going to do this. I think now's the time because we're coming into the new year with all this stuff going on, Graham. People need to stay strong, keep the faith, get better, not bitter. Okay. That's all I got to tell you. Always be better, not bitter. You'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. All right. So we're going to talk about the doctor. Okay, Graham? He was known as the fight doctor. All right, Graham? And his name was Dr. Ferdinand Ferdie Pacheco. You ever heard of this guy, Graham?
Never heard of it.
Wow. All right, cool. Well, then this should be good for you. Guys out there, we're talking about the fight doctor. Now, when you're in the fighting business and you're a professional, you need to be cleared for the fight. All right? So the bigger guys have personal doctors that go over them, like, as we all know, with a fine-tooth comb to ensure that the investment does not get injured in the process. So what they do is they hire these personal doctors, or if they don't have a personal doctor, I'm assuming what happens is the commission of that state or province, whatever it may be, issues a doctor to clear the fighters to move forward and have the fight. So there's been a lot of controversy, Graham, over the years. Things have been happening where guys were getting denied being able to fight, so to speak, because the doctor said, well, you got knocked out and you were concussed 6 months ago. And before that, you got knocked out and you got concussed 3 months before that. And then, so these doctors, I think, have an issue with, it must be some kind of an issue with trying to keep these guys alive. I guess that's what doctors do. You know what I mean, Graham? So they don't want to have any fatalities of any kind or any injury. That's what they're there for. So they're protecting the boxers. But at the same time, they're taking money out of the boxers' pockets. You understand, Graham? So the boxers are not too happy sometimes with that decision. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a controversy within the boxing community. And guys, if you guys hear anything, let me know. If you guys know anything about this, let me know. Keep the comments coming. They're awesome. The boxers are not, I don't know about now. Maybe it's changed. This could be a question for some of you professional guys out there that are boxing right now. But I know before, the commissioner at the time was a very strict individual, and I respect him immensely. And we'll talk about him maybe one day, but he's got to protect your interests, right? There's a lot of things happening in the boxing, professional boxing. There's promoters. There's a lot of money involved in these events, this entertainment, right? So, it's not fair to put a guy in the ring that's actually medically not cleared to be able to fight. You know what I mean, Graham? So
Makes
every
sense.
doctor's different. It's like one guy might say yes, one guy might say no. So they tend to go to multiple doctors and try to get the permits so that they can be sanctioned. What it is be sanctioned within that region. All right. And that changes depending on what you're for fighting in Nevada, you need a Nevada state license. If you're fighting in Ontario, you need an Ontario Athletics Commissioner's license. It goes on and on and on. So, and that includes MMA as well. So MMA is brought into it's brought into a category of it's boxing, kickboxing, and MMA. That's how the government has decided to amalgamate that sort of entertainment sport, so to speak. So they all get the same treatment, I guess, right? And then they basically it's almost like the government decides, right, Graham?
Or the doctor in this case.
Yeah, well, the doctor it has more influence over anybody's say because the government are not doctors; they're politicians. But they want to ensure that they're how do I say they're not going to have any lawsuits and libel suits and all kinds of stuff going on against. They kind of shun away from that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So they don't want to be putting fighters' lives at risk. Put it that way. First of all, they're interested in the safety for the fighters, guys. But there's all an element of that. You know what I mean? There's got to be. There's got to be. You know what I mean?
So who you got lined up?
We're
There's
just
a fight doctor.
Well, yeah.
You
So
can
we're
talk-
going to talk about.
Oh, you were talking in general about the fight doctor.
Yeah, well, I'm just
Or is
talking
there a
about doctors in general, how the fight doctors work in that from my perspective, maybe the pro guys, like you real guys watching out there who won world titles, any of you, I challenge you all to come on the show. I challenge you to come over here and tell me that I'm wrong. All right, like, or am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong or right? Maybe there's something that I don't know. I'd love to know.
No, I'm curious. So you were talking about determining whether a fighter is fit enough to participate in a fight, and the doctor would decide that up front, and that doctor is an independently hired, retained individual. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Hired by the state or province that the fighter is fighting in.
And that would probably take place at the same time as the weigh-in, I imagine.
Yeah, it's actually the day before the weigh-in. That's what I believe. They do the doctors and medicals before the weigh-in. Because if he doesn't pass the medical, Graham, there is no weigh-in.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't pass, there's no weigh-in. Show's over. Show's finished.
Now, can a doctor during a fight stop a fight?
Yeah, ringside doctors can, because what happens is they are at the fight. They're there to represent the state or the province. So if they call the doctor to the ring to inspect an injury, like a cut or something, or a broken nose, or maybe a broken hand or whatever, and he feels that same doctor that cleared you will say, this doesn't look good. I don't think this is gonna, get any better. And you're looking at maybe risking getting injured here. So I gotta call the fight.
I wonder what happened then. And we had Scotty Olson on the other day, and he mentioned that he fought possibly several times with a broken hand. So in other words, his fights continued in those instances, and he was allowed to continue. Well, I don't know if he ever admitted he had a broken hand.
That's the thing, Graham. He had a broken hand, but he didn't tell anybody he had a broken hand until the fight was over. That's how tough he is. So it's like Tommy Hearns did the same thing. Scotty Olson did the same thing. And I'm sure Mike Strange said the same thing. I think he broke a bone in his arm or hand or something when we were talking with Mike. Mike, you know what I mean? Like this happens quite often.
And that's why there's such things as protocols in most major league sports right now. Yes. If you get banged up, if you get hit in the head, you're going to the, what do they call it, the quiet room or whatever.
Yeah, well, what they've done now is the owners of all these major sports facilities and companies and teams, et cetera, are protecting their investments. So instead of letting these individuals run wild, once they have any inclination that the individual could be injured, then you need to be, they basically get you, if you're playing hockey, say, they come right to the bench and they take you to the quiet room. Exactly. And a doctor inspects you at that moment and decides. You don't decide. He decides. okay, you're fit to go, or no, you're not. You're going home.
And I don't think that's the case in boxing. I don't think the doctors can step in and stop a fight if he believes
the only way they can stop it, Graham, is if they're called by the referee. The referee stops the fight. The combatants go to their corners, and the one combatant that is injured the doctor goes to inspect his injury to determine if it's an injury that will possibly have fatal consequences, or he's going to be disfigured for life, or I don't know. You know what I mean?
One of the
you can't fight if the guy's eyeballs half ripped out and his cheek is all broken up.
These
guys are tough. You guys are tough.
Yeah, check this out though. There's actually a Wikipedia page dedicated to fighters who either died in the ring or died immediately after fighting in the ring.
Right, and it's pretty big.
It's a long list.
Yes, and, that's the problem.
It surprised me a lot.
Wow.
To this very day, and around the world. So I would have to imagine that the various athletic commissions take this very seriously, especially in the wake of all the other pro sports taking a look at this, especially head injuries. But yeah, we were talking earlier though about the fight doctor, and I think you had one guy in mind. Were you going to profile him tonight? Is that?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about him, Graham. This is how we started all this, guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm trying to talk about a guy that's a doctor. We're talking about doctors all of a sudden. It's the new year. Everybody's hurting, you know. So, you know, just don't worry about it. It's going to get better, guys. Everything will be fine. But this guy in the boxing world, so to speak, was probably known as the doctor that, you know, he was Ali's doctor, this guy. Personal doctor. So here's a few things about him. He was born in Tampa Bay, Florida. 1927. He's an older cat, obviously, right? He became interested in local boxing, stuff of that sort, and he ended up going to university. He went to the University of Florida. He got an education. He went for medical. He got a medical license through the University of Miami, and then he met a promoter or something. Somebody was helping him, right? And this is how he started his career, I guess. A promoter, a guy named Chris Dundee, fight promoter and the brother of Angelo Dundee. This is what I hear. So Angelo Dundee, his brother, offered him a job as a doctor for a fighter, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, you start out with one guy. That's and he introduced Angelo, who introduced Ferdie Pacheco. He introduced him to Ali. So this is basically, he was Ali's personal doctor for Ali's complete career. All right. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, you're a doctor and this is the guy that you have to be taken care of. I mean, when you look at things realistically, Graham, Michael Jackson had a doctor too, a personal doctor, Michael Jackson. Look what happened to him. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's not talk about that, but whatever. Doctors are important, but you got to have the right doctor. You know what I mean? So Ali decided this is going to be his doctor. He hired him, and that was around, I think, 1960, Graham. So this is when he started with Ali. So that was very early on in Ali's career. I mean, he might have even been amateur. I'd have to look it up again, but
he was still Cassius Clay.
He was still Cassius Clay, 100%, right? He kind of got he hired. It says somewhere where he fired. He wanted to fire Clay or something. Like he didn't want to work for him at times. He was a little. He didn't. Ali didn't like him, but Angelo liked him. You know what I mean? Ali ended up liking him, but I think doctors are the kind of things where he's probably prodding and poking the guy all the time, and he's just like, "Listen, dude, I got work to do. I got no time for these tests. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I don't need that. I'm not sick. I'll kill them all." You know what I mean? So this guy was probably just pestering him all the time, and he was like, "Hey, come on, take it easy on me, man. I'm fine. I'll let you know if I'm, you know what I mean?" So Ali fought a guy named Ernie Shavers, Graham, and that was one of the bigger fights. And after that fight, because Ali took such heavy punches in that fight, I think it was in 1977, if I'm correct, but as Ali Shavers, Ferdie Pacheco went to Angelo Dundee and literally said, I think it's time for this guy to retire. He had problems with his kidneys, Ali. They were failing, right? And this was probably from continuous punches or something like. This is Muhammad Ali. How many kidney shots did he take, right?
Right.
So, anyways, I guess they were concerned for Ali's well-being, and they were thinking of actually just retiring him. But Ali refused. He blatantly refused, as we can imagine. Like, that guy's not going to retire. He's like, I don't care. You know what I mean? This guy's like a martyr, Ali. Like, you know what I mean? He's like a god or something, right? So he's not a quitter. He's like, whatever, kill me in the ring, fine. I'll be happy. I bet guarantee he thought that. Like, if he died in the ring, he'd probably be a happy guy. You know what I mean, Greg? I don't know. I would think so.
No.
You know, for himself, right? I don't know. You know. So, anyways, he wrote letters and tried to get Ali in trouble with the New York State Boxing Commission and everywhere, and tried to kind of derail Ali just for his own good, but it didn't really work out. You know what I mean? So I guess he ended up he retired in 1981 from being Ali's doctor. I think Ali went on to fight till 84 or something, Graham. Like, he did have 83. Maybe he had that last fight he shouldn't have taken. Remember? You know what I mean?
Right.
And then he get, you know, the Larry Holmes debauchery, the worst of all time, where Larry Holmes had to beat up his best friend and idol, and didn't like any second of that at all in his heart. He knew it was wrong. He didn't want to do it. He's literally said it 100,000 times. He was crying inside. He wanted to cry because he didn't want that fight, but he was the world champ, and the Ali camp wanted the fight, and Ali needed the money. So they basically did the fight, knowing that Ali had no chance. But they should have stopped that thing, Graham. You know what I mean? Like, that was the fight. Guys, that was the fight when Howard Cosell, remember him, Graham? Howard Cosell. This is Howard Cosell from the Louisiana Superdome. How you doing, champ? Oh, yeah, champ. You know, that's how Cosell would talk to this guy, right? So anyways, Cosell was doing color commentary on that one. And he basically said right then and there, if they don't stop this, if they don't stop the fight, this is the last broadcast you'll ever see of Howard Cosell. And they didn't stop the fight, and he threw the mic down and walked out of the place and never seen again. He was so disgusted, Graham. Can you believe that? Howard Cosell, so disgusted in what he was watching, he couldn't handle it. Blew his mind. Like, blew the guy's mind.
And if I'm not mistaken, speaking of trivia, it was Howard Cosell who was actually the broadcaster for Ali's first fight as Muhammad Ali. Not
yes,
Cassius
exactly.
Clay.
I'm pretty sure that is correct. Guys, if you can let us know about that, I'm going to look that one up. But yeah, I mean, Howard Cosell was a broadcast guy, ABC. He did Wide World of Sports. He did everything, Monday Night Football, Frank Gifford, him, Don Meredith, all the early guys. But he was an icon. He's like Jimmy the Greek. You know what I mean? Jimmy the Greek. He used to be a gambler out of Las Vegas, and he used to do the stuff, Jimmy the Greek, right?
Yeah.
John Madden, you know, Pat Summerall. These guys are iconic in their sports. You know what I'm saying, Graham? As broadcasters and coaches, and like, you know, some of them were players, but some weren't. They were just coaches. They were maybe high school players that became coaches, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, we're talking about Pacheco. So he decides, Mr. Pacheco, Dr. Pacheco, Freddy, the fight doctor, he decides that he's just going to get into broadcasting. You know, might as well just talk, the fight doctor. So he was at ABC, NBC, Universal. He got every job. The fight doctor was with Larry Merchant and all those guys, like, every time. I watched it for like a gazillion years as a child, every time. And here we got special guest today, the fight doctor, Ferdie Pacheco. And I go, oh, there's the guy that's the doctor. That guy's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, that guy knows his stuff. And he was really knowledgeable at the boxing, but he was also a medical expert. So he could give you that side of the equation. He never really dug too much deep into it, but he'd give you some good tips and stuff on how not to get hurt or what to look out for, you know? So he was pretty fun guy, Graham. And they made a film or something about him, a bio, Ferdie Pacheco, The World of the Fight Doctor. So I got to look out for that one, guys. Ferdie Pacheco, The World of the Fight Doctor. It's a bio, I guess. It's a book, maybe a movie. So I'll look into that, guys. You should look into that. That'd probably be pretty interesting. He died in his sleep at 89 years old, 2017 in Miami, Florida. So, Ferdie, you went out. Just basically, that's the way you want to do it, Matty. You were the man. You're the doctor. God bless you, man. Thanks a lot for everything. Rest in peace, man.
Well, Neil, you're bringing some real interesting figures to the table.
Yeah,
We're talking fight, and not just the fighters, but the teams behind those fighters. And you're
Well, there's
bringing
a
these
lot of-
guys' stories.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys, like I said, Graham, guys, they don't get any credit. Like everything, like if you're Justin Bieber, okay, if you're Justin Bieber has about 1,000 people that work for him to ensure that he's Justin Bieber.
Yes.
So Justin Bieber sings songs, the most beautiful songs in the world. The guy is friggin' amazing. One of these days, I'm going to meet him. We got something up in the can there. There's an early New Year's thing, guys.
Well,
Graham, I'm going to tell him.
He does live about an hour west of us, doesn't he?
Excuse me for a sec, guys. There you go. Yeah, so, yeah, he's, I like your music, buddy. You're a pretty cool cat. I've always wanted to meet you. Some of my friends have said they've bumped into you here and there, and you're a really nice guy. You're a godly guy like me. So I got a couple of questions for you. If you're out there, JB, I got a couple of questions for you, JB. If you want to call in, if you have your people call in, whatever you like, it's on your time, literally. All right? So let's go. You want to challenge people? I challenge you, Bieber. Let's do it. Do it, bud. Me and you. In the ring.
Right.
Let's do it.
Well, we'll put them in the hashtags that we use for this episode and see if it somehow gets to him.
I'll just kiss him and tell him he's the best anyways. I'd never hit the guy. No chance. No, you're awesome, JD. We got something up for you in the new year, though. We got something up for you, dude. You'll like it. Cool. I know you'll like it. Anyways. All right, Graham. Yeah, so we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff in the new year, right, guys?
Yep.
I'm looking really forward to it, Graham. To be honest with you, it's a new year, guys. We all got to stick together. We're all buddies. We're all friends. Big family here, at Talkin' Fight. So let's just try to be a little better. Don't be bitter. Let's just move on from it. Try to learn a little bit each day and enjoy ourselves, Be good
exactly.
Be good to your family and friends. What else can I tell you?
Be better, not bitter.
That's it, man. It's a hard time for all of us. So I can understand what people are going through to a certain extent. And guys, you just, you got to roll with the punches and make sure you come out on the other side better, if you know what I mean. I thought
you were going to say, come out on the other side swinging.
Yeah, swinging. Actually, that's a better one. Thank you, Graham. See, Graham's my buddy. Yeah, you got to start swinging because I'll tell you, they've been throwing a lot of punches at us, as we all know lately. So, maybe we should fight back a little bit. Like, be cool. You know what I mean? Just do what they say and you'll be fine. But it's fun.
Right on. We got to go.
Yeah, buddy. All right.
Thanks very much for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So we're going to talk a little bit more quickly about some of the guys I'm thinking of bringing out, Graham, in the new year. Hopefully, okay. I think this might be possible. If you guys are out there watching this or anything, I'd love to have you here. And they're all, I really, truly, my heart is Canadian. So I think we're just going to bring in some Canadian guys, Graham. We'll start it off with the real, our guys, and then we'll bring in some other guys. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking some older cats that I used to like, Canadian boxers, if you guys are out there listening to this, or any of your friends are that were boxers and could call you and say, hey, this guy's talking about you, but he's talking about you in a good way. So we'd like to, if you want to come on the Neil the Deal show and talk boxing, I'm all in. Sid Vanderpool, you know him, Graham? You ever heard of this guy, Sid Vanderpool?
Yeah, we talked about him last night.
Yeah. So I was telling you a little bit about this guy. I saw him fight a bunch of times here at the Hershey Center in Mississauga. He's got some brothers that fight, and they're a fighting family, and they're really cool, and they're good. And I haven't heard from them for a while. Like, I haven't seen them So Sid, if the boys and you guys want to come on the show, I'd love to have you. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of other guys. We had talked to about Davey Hilton. Remember, Graham? I was thinking, I was thinking maybe we could try to get a hold of his brother Matthew, because he was a fantastic fighter, Graham, like really good. You know, so maybe a guy like him.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking
Canadian we'll bring content.
Well, we'll bring on Champ Bola Ray.
Bola Ray, there's one, the champ. Bring him.
And he's wanted to come on your show for a while. And
right on, thanks.
When he's on the show, you can ask him who he knows, because pretty well he's fought them all. Well, of the heavyweights anyway.
Yeah.
So
maybe ask Mike and Scott if any of their friends want to come out and talk boxing. I don't know.
Sure. We'll once
the word gets,
we'll see. Yeah, it's a personal thing, so we'll get those connections rolling.
Yeah. Just remember too, guys, boxrun.org for Mike Strange. Guys, go to boxrun.org. We talked about it with Mike. Donate $1 for the new year. It's only $1. Like, it's half a Timmy's coffee, right? That's what you're dealing with here. So it's very easy to go to boxrun.org, hit the donate button, and donate. So thanks, Mike, for everything, and Happy New Year to all you guys in the Mike Strange camp, so to speak, at boxrun.org.
Thanks very much, Neil. And thanks to the viewers for tuning in this evening. Yet another live show. It's our first week doing our live shows as opposed to pre-recording them and streaming them later. So these are live. You're hearing everything live off the floor, as they used to say in the old days. But if you like us, hit those like buttons, share buttons, subscribe buttons, because we appreciate it. And if you're commenting, we will reply to you. Thank you very much.
Graham, thanks a lot for having me tonight. And I'm looking forward to some very good future endeavors between us with the show. And I'm looking forward to everything, guys. I understand I might be going on the road next year. So Neil the Deal on the road could be a possibility, guys. And me on the road, now that's going to be fun.
Checking out all the gyms, seeing who's up and coming.
All the gyms, all the guys, all the boys, all the this, all the that, all the life, everything we go and where we go.
I think if we put you in an RV and put you on the road.
Yes, exactly. I'm a rock star. I need one of those RVs.
Yeah, we could have a fishing show, a boxing show.
Yes. Now you're talking my language. That's what I want to hear. Fishing show, boxing show.
Neil the
Deal. We need an RV, man. We need an RV, man. Come on. Like one of those wrapped ones you were telling me that I want. The ones they wrap them up.
Yeah, man. You just have to find a sponsor like Red
Bull. Kind of like Girls Gone Wild, except it's not. Boxing Gone Wild. One of those things. You see it going down the road and it's got all this paint on it and stuff. I know these girls, guys. I want them to custom paint the bus. Watch this. And we'll wrap it and do a little bit. We'll add a little bit of flair to it. The girls, they know who they are. They're watching those girls. Katie, you know. Crystal, you know. So you guys can paint a little bit on that bus.
All right. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night, Neil.
Right on, Graham. Thanks, eh? And guys, stay safe out there. Have a good night. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much. Neil the Deal, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday to Friday. See you tomorrow.